The topic of tonight's top 3, it is the following. Top 3 Disney Pixar short films. Let's start with mine. What I did, I basically picked classics, and I picked Walt Disney Shorts classic, even from a long time ago. And the first one, actually a Mickey short, and it's Mickey and the Seal. I really love, not only for Mickey's performance there, but Pluto is amazing in this short. It is sweet, uplifting, is always fun. It's timeless for me. The Seal is really sweet. So it's Mickey and the Seal from 1948. Okay, Colin, so let's go to your third.
Yeah, so my third is actually Piper, and if you're familiar with the Pixar Short Film Festival at Epcot, you've probably seen this, at least if you've seen the second version of the Pixar Short Film Festival, and I kind of love this.
Yes.
To me, this is kind of a showcase of what the RenderMan software can do at Pixar and what the animation tier can do. I mean, the fact that some of these scenes are animated, from the grains of sand to the depth of field that they have created artificially, is truly impressive. And I know this is a short film that took quite some time to animate, and it also has a storyline that's comparable to something like a WALL-E. There's no words spoken the entire short, much like many of the Pixar shorts actually, but there is this storyline that you follow through, and there is kind of a relatable story of kind of you get knocked down, you pick yourself back up, you figure it out, you learn things along the way. And I think it's one of those things that's a message you can interpret it any way you want to, but it is very uniquely well done, and it's comical along the way. But you can just see, like, if you go to the Short Film Festival at Epcot, and I know it's not the most popular attraction in the world, but you can look around you when that short's actually playing, and the reactions from people are really funny, because there's not a word spoken the entire time, but everybody kind of relates to it, and there's kind of a joyfulness to it. But it's simple, but it's a really good short.
I love that short. And one thing is the way that they can transmit emotions, even with the hermit crab, the way that he looks.
Fantastic. It's incredible. It is absolutely incredible.
It is amazing.
And the way his little calls articulate, it's impressive.
You can tell his expressions. He's
excited. He's sad.
I think you also have a different experience, like children watching it and then parents watching it have a very different emotional reaction to it too, and it's
which is genius when you think about it, because literally nothing is said. It's just I don't know, it's mind-boggling.
But Jason, let's talk about your third pick.
So this is a Disney Pixar. This is Presto, which I actually don't recall seeing before a film.
I don't remember this. No, I don't remember this at all.
So I discovered it on Disney Plus. When they started putting these shorts up on Disney Plus. It is so
It is
great.
Amazing.
I mean, it's so good, and it's right up my alley. And Chris Shepard, if you haven't seen this, you got to watch it. It's so much fun, because my grandfather, who was a magician, he, like a legit magician, he had the act that he was that he won awards for was a magician, like a comedy magic act, which was really an act that's made for magicians to watch. And so watching this just totally reminded me of that. There's this like, and the interplay between the rabbit and who just wants the darn carrot.
The way they can do it, come on, punch it to the feed me.
It's just, and I don't want to spoil anything. It is
amazing.
And it's just, and you're wondering, oh my gosh, like what's going to happen?
And
kill the rabbit.
It is, and it's also, it's a lot of humor. It's uplifting, and it's not sad at all. And it's great.
It's great.
It is classic. It is classic.
It really is, and I couldn't believe that I had missed it. I mean, this was. I mean,
I just looked it up. It was ahead of WALL-E, which doesn't seem like it would have been 2008, but it was ahead of WALL-E. Yeah.
The second one is also a classic. It has two names. It is The Whale. Originally, is The Whale Who Wanted to Sing at the Met. It's from 1946. It's Willie the Whale. I don't want to spoil anything, but it's It is a beautiful animation. The Will sings opera, and the way it interacts with seals when they're in when Willie's in the wild is beautiful. You cannot forget the way that he sings that. And it was part of a symbol of shorts in a movie called Make Mine Music, and you cannot find it in Disney Plus yet. I don't know why. That was my second option. Let's go to Collins.
Yeah, this one. This is one of my favorite things, and I don't know why. I've laughed about it for years. But it is the short Lifted. And if you all aren't familiar with this one, it's a little alien that tries to kidnap the kid, and he's got a million buttons on his little switchboard, and he can't find the right one. Amazing. So he just hits them all, and he's trying to lift this kid out of his house to abduct him. And he lifts him, and then he hits the wrong switch and smashes him into the wall. And then he hits another switch and it smashes him into the roof. And it's just... As a kid, I remember laughing to this hysterically, and it makes me laugh every time since. So it had to be on my list. And the reactions of both the characters that are in the spaceship are just simply priceless.
Yes.
And if I remember, something happens at the end of the short. I didn't rewatch it yesterday. I should have, but I probably wouldn't have been able to get through this if that was...
It is so funny. It's outstanding. One of those shorts that is pure laugh. It's just fun.
Yeah,
just fun.
There's no major story to it. It's just funny.
Yeah.
My number 2, Destino, which is a short Disney short that took 58 years or so to make. They started working on this. Walt Disney and Salvador Dali began this project together in 1945, and then it was abandoned at some point. It kind of stalled out, and they resurrected it in the late 90s and finished it up in 2003. It is, it's interesting. It's kind of like a fever dream. The music is beautiful. The story is, it's emotional. It's if you know about Salvador Dali's art, you can kind of understand it's going to be a little weird. Yeah. It's going to be a little weird. But it's a beautiful story. It's beautiful. It's about the time and what you can't have and what you long for, but for me, I saw this. I was inspired to see this after I had visited Grand Destino Tower at Coronado Springs Resort in Walt Disney World, because there's these references all throughout. There's Grand Destino is the name of the tower. The Dahlia Lounge is named for Dahlia, who's pictured here. That's the main character from the short. And when you watch this movie and then you visit Grand Destino, you realize, oh my goodness, everything in this hotel is a reference back to something in this movie. The art and the chandeliers and just the sort of the way that some of the windows are shaped, and so it's worth watching in and of itself because it's beautiful. It's worth watching just because to know that this has Walt's fingerprints all over it. But also, you really can't fully appreciate Grand Destino Tower without seeing this movie. You can appreciate it, but seeing this movie and then visiting the tower, you'll be blown out.
Yeah, you're right.
Just love it.
Okay, so let me go to my first pick. And there was some comment here that I saw before. I think Caleb said, I like any Disney short with Spikey the Bee. And there were so many of those shorts that they were not making the list here, that you have those regular character like Spikey the Bee, or those three bears that Donald used to be the park ranger. I'm bringing my number one. It is a favorite, and actually I was mentioning about that 2 weeks ago. I was joking something with Pedro here, and I mentioned about Lambert, and it's Lambert the sheepish lion, and it's the whole plot is great. It's not that it's too much original. We can see that the ugly duck tail on that, but the way that the portrayal and the expressions you have with Lambert, since he is really young, the way that he cuddles with his mom, and he's being bullied by the other sheeps, and the way that he grows up in first like a sheep, and then he turns to this brave lion. But that expression, it is something that I would never forget, because and it's one of those old shorts that you can have assembled in different other movies that they did. but it is really special one. Lambert, the sheepish lion, which is from 1952. Colin, you're number one now.
Yeah. Can't be sheepish lion. But so, my number one had to be For the Birds, and I believe this. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I believe this was before Monsters Incorporated, if I remember correctly. But this is hilarious. I don't really care who you are. This is like my comedy to a T. Just you got this giant weird
like
bird. It kind of does. I'm kind of disappointed to agree with you, but it's kind of sadly true. But this giant bird sticks out like a sore thumb, and it's a funny story about just the way that something sticks out, and that it's funny, and that you can have a good laugh at it, and it's still fun at the end of the day. And there is kind of a little plot line to this, but again, very similar to Lifted. It's just meant to be pretty funny, and it was just that. And if you want to see tons of birds without feathers at the end of it, stick around to the end. But if you've not seen this, most people have. For me, I think the best version of this that you could see in the past was at the Pixar Short Film Festival before they changed it, when they used to actually use the effects that were in the theater to actually lift and lower the seats. It was hilarious because as the wire went up and down, you'd feel it, and then when they let go of it, you'd feel that too. It was just, I don't know. To me, this is one that's always been the pinnacle of Pixar funny short films. And realistically, it does have kind of an odd lesson for its time in it built into it that's more applicable to modern media today than it was then. But still, nonetheless, it's a great short.
I was just confirming something.
What?
Okay, so my number one short happens to be...
cheated.
It actually appeared before what is my number one Disney movie, and so it's like a perfect combination. And I don't know whether it's like related to that. I don't know if one caused the other or not. But for me, my number one is Lava. This thing, I still to this day I cannot watch this without like getting goosebumps and a little teary. Even just thinking about it, the song, I have a dream, I hope will come true, that you're here with me and I'm here with you. I mean, I can't even get through the tune without choking up. It's there's something about this. It's this mythological reference to the formation of the Hawaiian Islands. It's this story, for those who aren't familiar. The story is this volcano who's alone, and he just wants somebody to love. He wants somebody to lava, which is the whole
story of my life.
And as he's singing and he's aging and he's singing this and he's aging and what he doesn't know is that below the on the ocean floor, there's a volcano there that's hearing this tune and is growing stronger and stronger and trying to reach up to meet him, and then they miss. Oh goodness, I can't do it. I can't. You just got to go. You have to watch it. It's Lava, 2015. It was before Inside Out.